All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you. Next item is the options for council to address a petition to ban single-use plastic bags. And this was considered by which committee? Sorry, I can't see. Innovation. Sorry? Don't say that. Innovation and Sustainable Development Committee. Vicky, could you introduce this item and just noting that I've added an additional recommendation off the back of the meeting of the Zone 5 and 6 last week, which is to agree to invite the Packaging Forum to make a presentation to a council meeting. I think it would really assist public understanding of what's going on in the space of packaging in terms of waste minimisation too. It'd be really good to see what's going on in the Packaging Forum world. So can you introduce this item?
Council, so the Innovation and Sustainability Committee met for the first time a couple of weeks ago and meets again tomorrow with a completely different agenda, largely around education. So we were very keen that the council adopt as a first point that we really wanted to drastically reduce single-use plastic bags. I think there is one more that we should add to that, and that is that we use our procurement policy to attempt to incorporate reuse into our environmental criteria, which will be part of that procurement policy, which is currently undergoing review. The people who made the petition were very keen that the council look to do whatever it could, aware that we couldn't ban them, and we wanted to work with the community, including supermarkets and big retailers, to look at what other possibilities there were. There are a lot of possibilities, and the more we investigate, the more possibilities we find. I think we can do this as a city. We would obviously prefer that there was a very simple national answer, so that each city didn't have to go its own way. But I think the recommendations here were pretty generally supported by the committee, and we would just like to add that additional one about incorporating reuse into our environmental criteria in our review of the procurement policy.
Very good. All right. Would you like to move that?
Happy to, with that addition.
And seconded by Sarah. Is there any discussion? Sarah?
Thank you. I think this is a really good step forward, and like Vicky said, we can't do an outright ban or impose a unilateral levy ourselves, but I think working with the major retailers will be a really big step forward. One of the barriers in the past has been the level playing field, and having people working together to do it voluntarily of some sort will be really really good. We know that overseas examples have shown us, so for example in England they put a 5p levy on, and plastic bag use dropped by 85% really quickly. And so without banning them and being nanny state and telling people what to do, we're able to make a really big difference ourselves. So really looking forward to getting this going.
Yanni?
Just quickly to say, I really support the addition of E and D, and also number 3. Because I think it's actually really important that we start looking at producer responsibility as well, and I think the Packaging Forum has a huge role to play in that, as well as our procurement policy. So I welcome these steps that we're taking. I think we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that we also should be looking at what's happening in regards to producer responsibility legislation with central government, because I do think when you think of other things like e-waste, for example, and plastics, and all the nasty stuff that goes along with that, there are other things that we should also be mindful of. But I think this is a really good start on a very specific issue, but it may be that wider issues come out of this work, which I would welcome.
Aaron. Sorry, having a mental block today. No?
That's right, I've been called worse.
What, in your name?
Yes.
Oh.
Aaron, I do support this, although I wish there was a lot more included and it went a lot further. Plastic's a massive issue for the planet and the amount that gets thrown out. And I even just look at the lolly wrappers we have here on our desk. These are individually plastic wrapped. If we switch to Minties, for instance, they use a wax paper. Just little stuff like that, it just makes a huge difference to the world's plastic that's going to end up in the ocean. We just heard about the water. The oceans are full of plastic, gets consumed by fish at a microscopic level, so we eat it eventually and get rid of it that way. But it will give us cancer and we'll die. But that aside, drinking straws is another one, and I would have liked drinking straws to have been included in this. It would be great to work with the local alcohol and hospitality industry to maybe be one of the first cities in the world to try and go straw-free, as Soho in London did it, and the amount of straws that they don't now put in landfills and oceans is reduced by millions. So all their bar districts did it. You can actually drink out the side of a glass or the top of a can or a bottle. You don't need a little straw to sip it. And that thing that you get drunk quicker, that's not true. There's nothing in that. I've researched it lots. They are kind of pointless. So it'd be great to encourage those kind of things. And the other one is, I raised it earlier, it's not the place to talk about dog poop in here, but wrapping dog poop in plastic and then storing it in Cape Valley for millions of years doesn't make much sense either. There's so many more things we could be doing. This is a start and we should be expanding on it.
This was in response to a petition
Yes.
about single-use plastic bags, so we wanted to address that. Sarah has a particular thing about reusable coffee cups, which I think will probably come next, and I'm quite confident that once people know that there is a committee dealing with sustainability, that there will be a whole lot of initiatives, hopefully from the public as well. Well, I think since these don't meet our sugar policy either, why have we even got them? Actually,
Sugar-free. No. It's called walking the talk, all right? That's the end. We'll diminish the stocks and that'll be the end.
Madam Chair, I moved Minties, and when we have the Christmas party, I'll tell everyone the best Minty joke they've ever seen in their life.
Yeah, I know. These ones don't do bad either. Anyway, all right, so that's been moved and seconded. Thank you all for your contributions. That's been moved and seconded. I'll put that motion. All those in